Violence in the northeast, honestly, which is, I can say, escalating by the day, although authorities and state actors will tell you they have won the war, they have decimated Boko Haram, but we, the common man, honestly, we do not see that on the ground. Why? Because, in fact, even at the early days of the insurgents, I believe, honestly, the system has not been fair to us. In fact, as far back as the early period when a state of emergency was declared on the northeast, when the whole president of the country was telling the world that his government is not going to negotiate with a faceless society, many of us in that part of the country knew that Boko Haram is not faceless. If anybody from that part of the country tells you he doesn't have a relation, distance, or close who is a member of the Boko Haram, that person is telling a lie. So they are all in our houses, living with us in our communities. That is why when the government responded militarily with the creating mission of the JTF, who are strangers to my land, do not know who a Boko Haram is. All they see is youth coming to launch attack on them and then going back and then disappearing into the community. Of course, they go back to their houses and then maybe keep their guns under their mothers' beds. And the mothers too will not even communicate to the father, because traditionally in our context, men and women do not communicate. And of course, honestly, their sons coming with guns to the family and others is a change of status to call to the women. So therefore, they will not say it, and then the neighbors dare not report. And then when the government now came up with this intervention, instead of helping to stem the tide of the violence, it rather aided the recruitment base of Boko Haram, because many youth joined the insurgency to take revenge from the excesses of the soldiers being committed on them, where hundreds of thousands of youth within Maiduguri itself were arrested. To date, they have disappeared forever, and there is no accountability. Nobody is telling us anything about them. I have never been pessimistic. If the government is willing to lead in this in peace, believe you me, there are people in our community who are ready to broker this peace, and this balance will continue. But as it is now, Boko Haram has become a hydra-headed monster with several heads. So many other bodies were operating under the shadow of Boko Haram. Criminals, hired assassins, political assassins, armed robbers, and then even other political assassins. And then, in the course of discussion over the years, people have been mentioning names, individuals and groups who are associated or as sponsors of this insurgency. But to date, nobody has ever been arrested, nobody has investigated for us to know the truth. So therefore, all depends, I can say, it is in the hands of the government, but the government has different sections, different mechanisms and architectures are operating under the name of the government, the security, the politicians, the religious organizations and others. People have different reasons to sustain this violence. I think different stakeholders all have their individual different reasons to see to the sustenance of this violence. So these helpless, illiterate, hopeless boys were used to perpetrate this violence so that some other people, I believe, are benefiting from it. Honestly, our common people know, our politicians know, our elders know, but nobody is willing to open his mouth and talk. But for us women, honestly, as mothers, we are fed of this bloodletting. In fact, we are ready. In fact, and then telling the government that there are people who are willing to broker this peace. Not government people. They have nothing to do with the government. If they really wish, honestly, we can end this violence within 1 month. Ceasefire could be declared, because the boys themselves are fed up of even killing and then staying in the bush of hunger and then dying every now and then. But nobody listens to them. Well, I don't blame Buhari. Buhari is just an individual. Honestly, I even pity the man. Buhari is just an individual in this context, honestly. I see him just as an individual. Yes, he has the commitment, he has the interest to end it, but he doesn't have ready, willing actors to partner to end it. And I'm not sure if Buhari gets the right briefing as far as Boko Haram issue and the war is concerned. Because honestly, if he has been getting the right perspectives, his approach would have been different. But because even if no matter how zealous, no matter how interested he is, he still needs to depend on the military, on the air force, on the navy, on his political technocrats, and then the intelligentsia to plan and execute this war for them. Where people are not willing to cooperate and then be part of that individual zeal, will that individual succeed? That's how I see Buhari, honestly. But then for the myopic mind, who in fact whose thinking do not go beyond what they immediately see and perceive, yes, they can say Buhari has failed, but to those of us who have been analyzing, who are really interested and keen and following up the development from its emergence to date, honestly, we know that this problem has nothing to do with Buhari or any other one individual, but multifaceted factors have come down to play on this issue and then sustain and then perpetuate it to the detriment of our society. And if there is honestly a will, and nobody addresses that, nobody calls names, nobody arrests anybody, nobody investigates, so the level of impunity continues, and then people feel they can just do that, they like kill who they want to kill, abduct who they want to, in order to sustain their interests. Way forward, I blame we, the common people of, particularly in that part of the country, partly, but in some cases I have to sympathize with my people also. I said we are the most undeveloped, we are the most uneducated, and then we are the most poor, abjectly poor. So therefore, any small enticement in terms of money and others can easily make people change their minds, so that we don't talk, we don't complain, we don't even expose what we see. So everything tried on us is just taken as proper in our context. I don't think anything that is being tried on the people of Borno and Yobe can be tolerated in any part of Nigeria. No. So when I came to Lagos, I saw even in some petrol station, the attendants were just standing, folding their hands because there is no buyer. When still in my part of the country, we buy fuel for 200 and beyond, and still nobody talks, nobody cares, nobody even complains. So these are our context. So therefore, unless maybe I will call on other people of this country, well, they may see it as a problem and then keep back, or perhaps they don't know, but I think they should educate themselves and then open up to, in fact, identify with our problems, speak with us, so that collectively as Nigerians, honestly, we can take up the problem and then end it. Otherwise, honestly, it may end here, because to me, left to me, honestly, Hamsatu, the individual speaking to you, honestly, all this issue of herdsmen in going down to the Niger, even Niger Delta. I was in Niger Delta in 2015 when they were talking about herdsmen. I said, which herdsmen, for goodness sake, will come to this part of the country and kill you? And then to the killers in Zamfara, honestly, and then the killers in around this Taraba, Jukun area, and then the Boko Haram itself are all the same thing, honestly. There are certain interest groups who are perpetrating this violence so that others, their sponsors, are benefiting financially, while they themselves perhaps may or even may not know, because some of the information you get from some people who were arrested and others is just startling. But no actor in government is really geared to address them. And I believe it's high time people, the ordinary masses, come out for the sake of our posterity and children to honestly speak to the government and its security agencies to end this. Otherwise, honestly, before you know it, they will finish with us and then roll down to come down to the other parts of the country and finish everybody. Buhari has taken every step to me. But as I told you, he relies on people to execute. He relies on on a religiously obedient military to execute the war, or politicians or technocrats to plan and guide them. But he lacks those. Honestly, I pity the old man. I pity the old man, because the level of bad governance, corruption, and other institutionalized corruption has led, in fact, to the crippling of all our architectures and systems. Nothing works. Left to me, Nigeria's problem is not Buhari's problem. It is about a system that has failed, a system that has been ineffective. Siphoning just money by individuals to cater for themselves is the order of the day. So therefore, it's not the problem of Buhari, and we, the common man who are at the receiving end, have to get up. Okay, if not Buhari, tell me who is now the alternative? I saw some old head of states coming out to the radio and that media and talking this time. During their regime, what did they do? Were they not even the same actors who were in place when things deteriorated to the level that, and believe you me, neither Buhari or anybody can solve Nigerian problem within 10 years, honestly. People have to be patient, and then we, the common masses, have to open our eyes and ears, see their reality, analyze. And then, okay, if you say Buhari is bad, give me the alternative. Show me who will perform better than him. Honestly, we are ready to support that. But so long as there is none, just mediocres wanted to pull him down so that they continue, because we in the north, particularly in the northeast, have seen hell. And then we don't want any. And then the coming of Buhari is what in fact brought us a little even soccer. But then the forces are now galvanizing against and then working against it. So we have to stand up on our foot and then counter all this so that we see light for the sake of our posterity.